أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Over the last few weeks, brothers, as Brother Faraq has said, we've been trying to achieve a certain objective, and that objective is number one for ourselves and then for everybody else who's been attending. We've been discussing the Akhirah series, talking about death, talking about the purpose of life. We talked about Judgment Day. And we're not just talking about these stories or these narrations to scare people, or just to be happy about things, and then to go away. We're discussing these narrations and these issues to motivate us. To motivate us to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To motivate us to get further away from the fire of hell, and to be those who are successful. Now this question of who is the most successful one, or who are the successful people, is important for us to understand. Because in this society, success is judged in many, many different ways. So do you judge success because of your house, or because of your car, or because of your muscles, because of how many females you interact with, money, friends, how many friends you have on Facebook? Is this your success? So different people and different kind of generations have all these funny criteria. And with Islam, it's very clear. Very, very simple. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to actually understand that the successful one is the one on the day of resurrection, the day of judgment, is given his good deeds, is given his account in his right hand, and he enters Jannah. That word Jannah shall be ingrained in our hearts and ingrained in our minds, because this is what success is. And Jahannam, if you're giving the account and your deeds in your left hand, then you will enter hellfire, which is an abode of those who have been humiliated and those people who are the losers. So success and failure is Jannah and Jahannam. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created paradise and hell, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created these two abodes, these two destinations, he said to Jibreel, go and see paradise, tell me what you think. And Jibreel alayhi salam, he went to paradise and he studied paradise and he came back and he said to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is no one, there's nobody, none of your creation that will not want to go into paradise. It's how beautiful, it's how amazing it was. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he then surrounded paradise with hardships, with tribulations, with sacrifices, with difficulties. And then he sent Jibreel alayhi salam again, said, go and look at paradise now. And Jibreel alayhi salam went to look at paradise, and he said, and when he came back, he goes, I fear that there isn't anybody who will enter paradise because of the difficulty, the trials, and the tribulation, and the sacrifices. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to Jibreel alayhi salam, go and see hellfire. And he went and he studied hellfire. And he came back. And because of the horrific nature, the kind of terrifying experience that we will go through what hellfire is, Jibreel alayhi salam, he said, there is nobody, there is none in creation that will want to go into hellfire. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he surrounded hellfire with lusts and desires and ease. And then he sent Jibreel alayhi salam again. And Jibreel alayhi salam came back and said, I fear that everybody will go into hellfire. So Jannah and Jahannam were created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the fear of Jibreel alayhi salam, that human beings will be tempted away from worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was simple up until you saw the trials, the tribulation, hardships. And this is something that we need to recognize as Muslims, as believers, that we will be tested. Each brother in this room will have a different test, a different type of tribulation, a hardship. You're going to have to make decisions. And to get close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to get to Jannah is not easy. You have to sacrifice. And this is something that some of us, we want Jannah for free. We want to be able to do whatever we want, live our lives, follow our desires, and get Jannah. It doesn't work in that way. Every single brother in this room will get Jannah because he followed the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and ultimately with the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we need to be serious about this. It's not a game. Your life is a moment and an opportunity to achieve success. You waste this one opportunity, and then that's it, it's over. You don't get a second chance. Can't have a rerun. So this is why it's important that we think today, while we're discussing these narrations, about where your life is at this moment. Where are you in this journey towards getting close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Where are you? What milestone have you reached? Are you somebody who prays? Are you somebody who fasts? Do you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala outside the month of Ramadan? Do you make excuses? Are you really driven materially only? Is that how you judge success? Are you a womanizer? Do you like going clubbing? Do you like drink? Do you do a lot of Facebook or fitna book? Hey, where are you at the moment in your life? Or are you somebody who plays around? You do your namaz or have you, but you're not really wanting to sacrifice? Are you arrogant and you think you're okay? But you do your little bit. Where are you in your journey in life? What stage are you at? And be honest and sincere to yourself after listening to some of these narrations. Jahannam will be brought on the plane of resurrection. And there will be 70,000 rains on Jahannam. Now sometimes when you go around maybe Charlie and Bentley and maybe sometimes the Muslim community, you might see some guys walking around with a pit bull. And the actual dog is taking them for a walk. Jahannam will be dragging, coming forward, raging, angry. And these rains will be held by 70,000 angels. And Jahannam will come and come in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say to Jahannam, speak. And Jahannam will say, I swear there is no God worthy of worship but you, Allah. Oh Allah, I swear that I will take revenge on those people who you gave sustenance to, those people who you gave rizq, those people who you gave air to breathe, you gave them life. Yet these people, when it came to worshipping you, Allah, they were too busy with their wives, they were too busy with their children, they were too busy with their businesses, they were too busy getting fit in the gym and just chilling out or Facebooking. They were too busy for you, Allah. These arrogant people who you give everything to. Now today, I will take that revenge, O Allah. Send those people. So Jahannam starts to call upon the Jahannamis. Where are those disobedient? Where are those arrogant people who in the dunya thought they would get away with it? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He then orders an order which should scare every single. Put yourself in this position, guys. You're on the day of resurrection. Jahannam is calling out, wanting these people, and then you are there. You are one of those people. You are one of those guys who's standing there who thought this day would never come. You thought you had time, but you died before then, and you're standing there. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, chain them, shackle them, tie them up. And 70,000 angels will come and they'll grab you by your throat and grab you by your head and grab you by your sinful forelock, and they'll start to chain you. And your face is blackened and you're terrified and you don't know where you're going. And they drag you and they slap you and they push you towards the gates of Jahannam. You're being dragged towards the gates of Jahannam. Nothing, we can't do anything, can't fight back. And as you go closer to Jahannam and you start to feel the heat and the sparks of Jahannam, one spark of Jahannam is equivalent to the size of a camel in this dunya. One of those sparks, if ever hit this dunya, would destroy this dunya. That's just a spark of Jahannam. And you come close, and in front of Jahannam are the gatekeepers of Jahannam, the angels. There's 19 of them. The 7 doors to Jahannam, 7 gates that you can enter depending on your deeds and depending on which evil acts you were involved in. And this angel, the size of the angels of Jahannam, one narration talks about if a bird flew from one shoulder, it would take you 2 months before it reached the other shoulder. Huge angels. And the Quraysh at the time of Prophet ﷺ, they said to Rasulullah ﷺ, 19 angels. There's going to be 19 angels. We can deal with 19 angels. This is what the Quraysh said, we can deal with 19 angels. Then Rasulullah ﷺ smiled and said, these 19 angels, said one of these angels is enough to destroy the dunya. One of these angels. Everything that's in the dunya. Black faces, large black teeth, huge. You're shackled, you're chained in front of the gates of Jahannam. Gates of Jahannam are open. The heat is hitting you. The sparks are flying. And then the angel speaks. The angel speaks and said, didn't messengers come to you? Did they not recite unto you the verses of Allah? Did we not send to you the Quran? Was the Quran not clear? Why did you not follow the message of Islam? Did you not know about heaven and hell? Did you not know about halal and haram? Did you not know that one day you will be in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you will face a punishment because of your disobedience? And that insan, those human beings, silent, terrified, no response. So the angel says, now enter the hellfire because of your arrogance and your disobedience. And they're thrown into the hell. A hell so deep that if a stone was to be thrown into it, it would take 70 years for it to reach the bottom. One wall of Jahannam, it would take somebody walking 40 years to cover one breadth of the wall of Jahannam. A fire whose fuel is men and stones. A fire that's hotter, 70 times hotter than the fire of this dunya. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created this fire specifically for the Jahannami, those evildoers. So you've fallen in now to hellfire. So you're in hellfire and you're surrounded by 4 walls. And you're looking around and you start to see some really, really disturbing things. Number one,